Let's make a potholder with the potholder loom. This is an 18 peg loom, and we're going to make the Diverging Corners potholder. It makes 4 small mitered squares that change direction. You can create this simple design with no seaming. This easy loom weaving pattern is fully reversible and works up quickly. Let's make one today here on GoodKnit Kisses. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. This pattern has written instructions and links to right and left-handed video tutorials for your convenience, as well as a link to the chart that we refer to in this pattern. Please visit the link down below in the video description for a link to our blog and for the detailed chart is available at Piglet's Potholder Patterns, Diverging Corners 18, and that is shared with permission under Creative Commons. For this particular pattern, you're going to need 36 loops, but you're going to need 20 of color A and 16 of color B. And of course, your loom, this one has 18 pegs across on each side. And I use a crochet hook kind of at the end, but you can use a weaving tool as well. So grab your supplies and we will begin. First, let's begin with the warp, which is these vertical loops here. We're going to take contrast A or color A and put it across the first half of the loom on the odd number pegs. So peg 1, peg 3, peg 5, peg, whoops, missed that, there we go, peg 7, and peg 9. All right, once you reach peg 9, you're going to duplicate that again on peg 10, and then we're going to work our way on all the even pegs with contrast A. Okay, so we're going to have 10 loops across. We just did 10. We're going to do peg 12, peg 14, peg 16, and then peg 18. Now that you have that sequence, you can just fill in the rest of these with your contrast B. I'm using purple here. Got yellow for my A and purple for my B. So these are on pegs 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have, let's see, 11. And peg 13, peg 15, and pegs 17. And there we have all of our loops filled up for the warp. Now we'll do the weave. I will be referencing this chart off to the side, but we actually have detailed written instructions on how to use this. So if you prefer written instructions, that's how I'm going to give you the verbal ones here. Otherwise, you can just look at these. All the vertical lines here represents going underneath that those sets of loops. And then if it does a little long, if it does a dash like this, then it's going over the loops. Okay, so this is under and this is over. All right, I have contrast A. We're going to work in the same sequence that we did on our warp as we do on our weave, except now we're going under and over and all that. All right, so with A, we're going to weave under 1 over 1 9 times. So under and over. Make sure you're grabbing both legs of your loop. Okay, so for row 2, we're going to begin with B and weave under 2. Place that loop. And whenever I stop, I like to put my finger here and then look over at my direction. So you'll see me do this a bunch in this pattern because it's going to change a lot. None of these rows repeat each other. So we've gone under 2. Now we're going to weave over 1, under 1 7 times. So over, under, once, twice. That's the 3rd time, 4th time, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And we're going to weave over 2. Make sure this isn't twisted and go over the last 2. Go ahead and push those up and grab A. We're going to work row 3. We're going to weave over 1, under 2. So over 1, under 2. Mark that. And we're going to weave over 1, under 1 6 times. So over, under, this is once, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now weave over 2, under 1. So over these 2 and under. In place. And now row 4, under 1, over 1, under 2. So under 1 to start, over 1, and then under 2, and then mark. Now we're going to weave over 1, under 1 5 times. So over, under, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now weave over 2, under 1, over 1. Place. And with A, we're going to begin row 5. Weave over 1, under 1, over 1, under 1. And over 1, under 2. And now weave over 1, under 1 4 times. So over, under 1, 2, 3, 4. Weave over 2, under 1, over 1, under 1. All right, now row number 6 with B, we're going to weave under 1, over 1 2 times, under, over once, and that's twice. Mark it. Weave under 2, and now weave over 1, under 1 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and weave over 2, under 1, over 1 2 times. So under 1, over 1, under 1, over 1. Make sure to check that you haven't skipped any pegs here. You can already see our first 2 squares coming together. Now for row 7 with A, we're going to weave over 1, under 1 2 times. So over, under, and that's once and twice. Mark that. Weave over 1, under 2. So over 1, under 2. Weave over 1, under 1 2 times. So over, under once and twice. Let's see. And then weave over 2, over these 2. And then weave under 1, over 1 2 times. Yeah, under 1, over 1, under 1, over 1, and then under 1 for that last. There we go. And row 8 with B, we are going to work under 1, over 1 3 times, under, over 1, 2, 3, make sure mark after that over, and then weave under 2, over 1, under 1, over 2, mark that, and then weave under, over 3 times. So under, over 1, 2, 3, and that last one is an over, so then you place it. Okay, and now we're on row 9. This is at that halfway point, so you're going to finish this one out, and then you'll be repeating the A again. So on row 9, we're doing A. Weave over 1, under 1 3 times. So over, under, 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, under 2. You're actually going to go over 2 now. This one's different, and then under 1, and now over under for the rest of the row. So for 3, so over under 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to push these in, make sure we've got enough room for the last of it. Use your fingers, or you can use the back of a crochet hook. Now that we're at our halfway point, this is a good spot to do that. Okay, row 10 with A, we're going to weave under 1, over 1 3 times. So under 1, over, once, and here's 2 and 3. Mark after this one, and weave under 1, over 2, under 2, kind of like we did on that last row, and then over 1. So let's mark that. And now we're going to weave under, over 3 times. So under, over 1, 2, and 3, and that last one is an over, so we just place it. And that is row 10. With B, we're going to begin row 11. Weave over 1, under 1 3 times. So over 1, under, 1, 2, 3, and weave over 2, and under 1, over 1, and then under 2. Weave over 1, under 1 the remaining part of the row, so 3 times. So over 1, under, that's 1, 2, 3. There we go. And row 11 with A, you're going to weave under 1, over 1 2 times. That's 1 and 2. Mark that. Weave under 1, over 2. Under 1, over 2. Marks that. Weave under 1, over 1 2 times. So under 1, over 1 once, and that's twice. Mark that. And weave under 2, over 1. So under 2, over 1. And weave under 1, over 1 2 times. So under 1, and then under 1 on the second, and over that very last one. And now row 13 with B, weave over, under 2 times. So over 1, under 1, 2, weave over 2, and then weave under 1, over 1 3 times. So under, over 1, 2, 3. Let's see, under, over, under, over, under, over, and mark that. And then we weave under 2, and weave over, under 2 times. So over, under once, and over, under. You can pick up this last one and place it and put down. And that's kind of how I end up doing these last few rows. I just end up picking them up. So if you want to see me do that, I will continue, because all the rest of these rows I'm going to have to show you. So I usually skip some of these when we repeat some rows, but we're not this time. So row 14, we're going to, with a, weave under 1 over 1. Let's get that placed. Under 1 over 1. And then under 1 over 2. Okay. And then weave under 1 over 1 4 times. So under, over 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark that. And weave under 2 over 1, under 1 over 1. So you only have to pick up this last, or second to last one, and place both of those. All right, let me make sure and get myself a little bit more room. Okay. Row 15 with B, we're going to weave over 1, under 1, over 2. So over 1, under 1. So you're just picking up that second one. And over 2, mark that. And then weave under 1, over 1 5 times. So under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the last part of that sequence is an over, so you mark the next one that's over. And then weave under 2. And then over 1 and under the very last one. And then place those loops. And then row 16 with A, we're going to weave under 1 over 2. So under that very first one. So under, over 2, mark that. And then weave under 1 over 1 6 times. So you can actually pick up a couple of these that we're going to go under and place. So that's 1, 2, and then the next 2, 3, and 4. And then 5 and 6. And as I get down halfway, I need to place it over here to hold. Okay, so I've done my 6 repeat, and the last one is an over, so we're going to be skipping this one here. And then we've under 2 over 1, so under just these 2, and then we place, and we're done with the row. That was easy. All right, 2 more rows left. Go ahead and make some room. Row 17 with B, we're going to weave over 2, so that's real easy. Over 2, and then under 1 over 1 7 times. So I'm going to pick up these next 2 here. When I say the next 2, obviously we're skipping one in the middle. So over, I'm sorry, under, over 1, and then 2, and then we're going to do 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6, and don't forget that 7th repeat here. over is the ending of that repeat. And so now we're going to weave under the last remaining 2. And pick them up, and then you can place and finish that row. 1 row left, row 18, with a, I'll give myself a little bit more room here. And this one's easy, real simple. We're gonna go over under 9 times. So over 1, under 1, and continue to repeat. So I'm gonna continue mine. You continue yours. Pause your video as you need, obviously through this video. If you need to pause and slow down or speed up, you can always do that. All right, I'm coming down to the end. The last one is under. And we are ready to bind off. So look at that, isn't that pretty? I love it. So we're going to bind off now, and the way we do that is we just begin to take it off with our crochet hook. I like to start one before the row I'm going to work. So I go in this corner and pick up this very last stitch here, go to the next one and lift up and over, and that's it. Just slipping the stitches across. So all the way across. And if you see me do it on other pages, you can, or in other videos, you can lift up some of these and place them on the loom as you go across to keep that tension, and then relieve the tension when you're done. So I'm going to continue working all the way around my loom. Pause your video and I'll show you how to close it up and see what this looks like when all of the tension is out of it and when it's drawn in. All right, we'll see you there. All right, I'm at the end. I've picked up my last stitch here, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the beginning one that I started with and pull that through, and it makes a nice little corner there. Go ahead and pull this out, even it up, fix your tension if you had left them on there. And then I just like to pull it around the back and pull it through another set of loops. And then under more, just as many as you can get underneath there to give it some tension to stay. There we go. And some people like to keep their loops on there. I don't like to hang mine. I put mine in a drawer, so I don't need that extra loop because it tends to get caught on things to me. So I love this design. I hope that you enjoy it. Trim off any extra little scrappy parts or scrappy parts. I hope you've enjoyed this Diverging Corners pattern. Be sure and check out our other patterns. We have a playlist below, and if you want to seam them together. I love how this looks like these interlocking pieces. There is a version of this one in a 19 peg version, and it looks like a straight line across. So if you don't like an overlapping look and you really want it to be more symmetrical, let me just grab that. Here's one right here. You can see how it pulls this here. When I say symmetrical, I mean like you could literally cut it in half right here, and it just looks slightly different. So you can see how these little squares are not merging, and you can see these they kind of overlap like this. So these butt up to each other, and then these overlap. They overlap like that. Anyway, you may not be able to tell. Some people are really detailed and they prefer one or the other. If you did the 19, a little tip, I might do a video in the future. Let me know if you want to, but a little tip is you can work the first few rows, and then you can place, say like number 4, you could place it right on peg 3, just double stack that, and then continue on with your pattern. You're just gonna need to make sure and squish these rows up more to allow more room as you get further on down. So that's the tutorial today. Have a great day and happy knitting, crochet, and weaving. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.